Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Good evening, Cavs fans, and welcome into the Block the Shot the Stop here with Skylar Webker. I am Kevin Lynch coming to you right after the Cavs get a win tonight, 115-105 against the Wizards. They still count as wins even when you beat the Wizards here in the NBA until they change the rulings. Skylar, we were talking a little bit off air, and I'll bring it on air. A lot of stuff to talk about tonight, especially because this is our first Cavs game in 5 days. But I think we both want to start with Jared Allen because we thought Jared had his strongest game in weeks tonight. And so what did you see out of Jared?
Just getting that offensive production that we saw through the first 15-game win streak.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, I think part of it is the Wizards. And the other part of it is not having Evan Mobley on the floor tonight. I think he gave him a lot more opportunities. But it was good to see that offensive production, 17 points, 9 rebounds, kind of what we want out of Jared Allen on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah. I think I have his final numbers as actually 21 and 11. So, but regardless, either way, the most important thing, he got to free throw line 10 times, was 7 of 10. And that, like, free throw attempts are like a simple stat that will usually tell you how aggressive a player is at trying to get to the basket, right? Because the majority of the free throws you shoot, it's when you're trying to get to the basket and you get fouled. And that's particularly true for a big guy like Jared Allen, who kind of lives around the basket. And you're right, he definitely gets a lot more opportunities when Evan Mobley's there. But even the game or two that Evan Mobley's missed, or his scoring didn't really tick up. I thought one, Jarrett was aggressive tonight, and two, I thought the guys on the team, Garland, Mitchell, LeVert, looked for him too off of penetration, maybe more than they had been in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I would agree. And ESPN is clearly not working right now because it has everybody like way down. It's the guy that has Jared Allen at 17 points, 9 rebounds.
That's why I'm an NBA.com guy. I gave up on
I'm gonna have to switch over there. Yeah, I think the offense kind of stunk tonight.
Yes.
I think it could just be, hey, it's the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think this Cavs team, I think they like playing in the sense of it keeps them in rhythm, keeps the rust off. I feel like anytime they go into these extended breaks, we always see kind of a little bit of a slow start in the first game back.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't know, us, laymen, we don't really know what's going on. But on Sunday, we thought, at least I very much brought up that they maybe looked a little bit tired because they'd played so much, and maybe that's why they just looked a little lethargic on Sunday. And then tonight, they looked rusty, which you say like 5 days, not that long, but for them, it's easily the longest break that they've had, and they've been pretty used to playing every other night, a lot of 3 games in 4 nights type situations. So not surprisingly, maybe they had a little bit of rust, especially at first quarter. I think they only had like 23, 25 points in the first quarter. The first quarter was really a lot of clanging off the rim. But, and the other thing that we kind of talked about that I want to bring up on the show is tonight, more so than normal, like the Cavaliers played like the quintessential modern NBA offense, where every shot should be a 3-pointer, a layup, or a foul shot. So that's like that is like the modern day, the 3 true outcomes. That's what every team wants to see. And tonight they shot 51 threes, which is 11, 12-ish above their average. Did not shoot them very well, unfortunately. They did get to the line 40 times, which is twice as many. They average about 20 free throws a game, twice as many free throws as they normally get tonight. And then the Lebs and dunks speak for themselves, especially with like Jared Allen's stats and everything with him being so involved. That tells you they're getting a lot of shots around the basket. So I don't know if this is my necessarily preferred method, but it was effective tonight because, like you said, they did not play very well offensively, but they still won by double digits. They still had 115 points to get into an NBA team. So I guess they were doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at their shooting percentage,
it's
39% on the night. That's rough.
That's a rough night for college.
Yeah, compared to the Wizards, who put up a decent 47-7. So I think you're right. I think just getting to the free throw line and hitting at a decent clip, still not what I would like. To me, it is a free throw. These are free points. Do not piss them away.
You're right. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, I think fans, and I'm one of them too, are the hardest on guys about free throws because it's the one thing any of us can do decently well if we try if we practice enough and everything. There is nothing else on an NBA court any of us could do remotely close to an NBA player except for possibly free throws.
I think I could take a charge.
Yeah, okay. You're braver than me. I want no part of that. But yeah, no, not a great offensive game tonight. Maybe one of their worst of the season, if we're being honest. But I think the way they were able to win and the way they were able to, or the reasons they could, is you called it out. Really good rebounding night. 62 rebounds tonight. Out rebounded the Wizards by 10. And they won between that and they won the turnover battle quite a bit. So they ended up winning by 6, 17-11, but they had a few turnovers right at the end when the game was decided. It was mostly a double-digit turnover difference for most of the game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you look up and down the roster, the only person that didn't have a rebound tonight was TJ Maxx. Everybody else, I mean, 2, 7, 11, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 3. Yeah. Like everybody else was contributing to getting those rebounds, which is good to see because when our NBA Weekly, that's something that we brought up as like a point of concern is that our rebounding numbers have not been stellar.
Yeah. No, they haven't. And you would think, I don't know, and it's why they play the games, I guess. You would think tonight, without Evan Mobley, who is arguably your best rebounder, it would be time you'd be worried about the rebounding, but they rebounded the ball extremely well tonight. Like you said, there's I think 7 guys that had at least 5 rebounds tonight. So definitely like a team gang effort on the backboard. I thought that was really good. And I thought, I thought the playmaking was also really good tonight. Did not always lead. I thought they had a lot of like, I call them almost Sports Center highlights, like where they made a great pass, set up a guy for a wide open shot, and they just missed a shot. That happened. I feel like that happened so many times. I mean, Mitchell, Garland, and LeVert combined for 20 assists. I think that number easily could have been 25 to 30 if they shot the ball a little bit better. I thought they did a really good job kind of penetrating, setting up their teammates. And it was just, not to belabor the point, but it was just a really bad shooting night. But they played a good enough defense and did enough enough things well to still, like I said, have a comfortable win, fairly comfortable win.
It feels so good to have these bad nights, these bad shooting nights against the Wizards. I don't want to keep harping on the Wizards, but if it's any other team, if you have a bad shooting night against Boston or the Thunder or anybody else, the score isn't what it is.
No, they don't win this game against a really good team the way they played. I mean, I think that's just being honest.
Yeah. And credit the Wizards. I really like Sarr, who they got.
Yeah, he played really well. Yeah. He, even from when they played the Wizards earlier in the year, when we talked about the Wizards, he just looked so much more confident and aggressive. I thought he didn't make real big contributions the first time the Cavs played him maybe 3 weeks ago, but he looked, he impressed me tonight. Really athletic and and took the ball to the hole confidently. He was 6 for 10 from the field, 14 and 7 for a 19-year rookie center. I mean, that's going against Jared Allen, who's a really good defensive center. Yeah, I was pretty impressed by him.
Yeah, and he had put up a couple of threes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 threes, made 2 of them. So I mean, able to space a little bit. Yeah, going against Jared Allen, who's kind of a tall, lanky defender in his own right. So I like some of these pieces there in Washington. I hope that they're able to kind of keep building, because the NBA is so much fun when everybody is competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. They do have some young pieces. I really like Koulibaly. He had a good game tonight. He had 27 points. That was more than I thought. I really like Bub Carrington. He's really started to emerge, even though he didn't do a whole lot tonight in previous Wizards games. I really liked him. And not to turn it back around, I'll tell you one guy I'm not impressed with is Jordan Poole. And he, I mean, some of his numbers were okay. And he had 17 points of really bad shooting. And he had, I coined a new NBA phrase, or a new basketball phrase today. And I am really excited about this that I'm going to drop on you. Jordan Poole tonight, he had what I'm going to call the toddler. And it's when you get both a technical and a flagrant foul, which means you threw a fit and you got so bad you hit someone. So you got a technical at one point and a flagrant at the other. I'm going to call that the toddler. And I really love that nickname. I'm going to really put it on socials and try and popularize that, because I think it's a great way to call somebody out who gets a technical and a flagrant in the same game.
Ah, that's such a good like term to start saying, because yeah, he has not impressed me pretty much since his rookie year at Golden State. Anything outside of that, he's been not very good.
Yeah, and I mean, he was good inside. The Warriors obviously have a fantastic ecosystem there that he did really well in for a while, and then probably acted like a toddler and got knocked out by Draymond Green. And it's been pretty much downhill ever since, until leading all up to tonight's climax of him getting a toddler and a technical and a flagrant, which I said that out loud during the game. Like, I'm going to call that the toddler.
That's awesome.
Yes. But anyway, and we've talked enough about the Wizards. We'll tie it back into the Cavs both tonight and kind of where they're going now with this reset. They, like I said, they had 5 days off. They have 2 games in like almost a full 2-week period. So this is a really good chance to reset. One thing that we didn't see tonight that we thought we were going to was Max Strus on an NBA court. It was announced about middle of the day today that no reason to be concerned, but we're actually going to hold him out tonight and look for him to possibly play Monday instead. I don't know. Did you hear anything different? Is there any reason to read more into this than, maybe they just wanted to give him a couple more days? They didn't want to risk it against the Wizards. I don't know. I think we're all ready to see Max, but if it's just precautionary, sure. Anytime they say a guy's going to make his debut and then he doesn't, makes you a little nervous until you see him on the court.
Yeah, it makes me nervous. I think I put it in our group chat earlier. Like, this seems like against the worst team in the East seems like the best, like, get your legs under you, get some real game minutes in you type of situation. So the fact that either Kenny or other members of the coaching staff felt otherwise, it feels concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a setback.
It does. And we're going to take, until proven otherwise, we'll take them at their word. Hope we see him Monday night, if not another time very soon. And if there's any other news bigger than that, we'll talk about it Wednesday. But just a mild disappointment, because I think we've all been ready to see Max on the court and know that he could bring a really good element to this team. He could help them. And we talked about yesterday on yesterday's episode how much they're already excelling at 3-point shooting. Max Strus could be their best 3-point shooter. And so it'll be really great when we do see him on the court. The other guy we missed tonight was Evan Mobley. we all know he turned his ankle on Sunday, but there really was no word all week about that he would possibly miss this game. And then it came out shortly before tip-off that they were going to hold him out. This is one I'm not concerned about at all. I saw Evan Mobley multiple times standing, jumping, cheering on the sideline. So I think this was just we're playing the Wizards. We can give him an extra 3 days off on that ankle and to just for general rest and recovery, and then we'll see him Monday. Is that your impression as well?
Absolutely. I think he was questionable all the way up until like a game time decision where they ruled him out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's absolutely, hey, let's not strenuate this guy on the Wizards.
Yeah, and it will. I think why I was surprised he didn't play. They actually put out betting lines for Evan Mobley, and if there's anyone that knows, it's usually those guys. And they usually don't put betting lines out on players that might not play or really any of their teammates, because once Evan Mobley goes out, that affects what the over under would be of several other players, right? So I was kind of surprised. If you knew that Evan Mobley was out, you could have you could have made a lot of money betting overs for guys like Jared Allen. But yeah, so not worried at all about Mobley. Good game to give him off and just give him an extra 3 days rest, but certainly look forward to having him back. Otherwise, really the one guy that's really stood out for me tonight, and his numbers were, I was thinking like his numbers weren't as impressive as his contribution was, but he did have 13 points, was like Isaac Okoro. Like I thought Isaac had been a little bit quiet lately, but combination of he got back to, hitting 3-point shots. He was 3 for 4. He shot 3-point ball really well for most of the year. Him and Garland both kind of had a slump a little bit recently, but shot the 3 ball really well and got back to him playing really aggressive defense. The Wizards don't have the best backcourt in the league, but he certainly held combination of Bob Carrington, Jordan Poole under their shooting averages, under their scoring averages is a big part of that. And I thought Isaac was really, really good tonight all around.
He led the Cavs in plus minus. He was plus 16 on the floor tonight, which is, everybody knows, is my favorite metric for players. Like you said, I mean, he was exactly what the Cavs needed. He out of anybody shot better than anybody else. On top of just really being a lockdown defender, and hitting that 3 here at the final to really put a dagger in the end of this game.
Yes, he did. We just couldn't. The Cavs couldn't hit that final shot or two to put him away. It seemed like they were trying to do that for the last 5-6 minutes of the game, and then he finally did with a couple minutes left, kind of ice it.
Yeah, the steal and a block.
Yeah. No, I thought he was. I was really, really happy with the way Isaac played tonight. And other than that, I mean, I think we put a lot of we recapped this game pretty well, like solid contributions on a bad offensive night from just about everyone that played. I think Dean Wade and Ty Jerome were the only two that your stat had negative plus minuses. Dean unfortunately didn't shoot the ball as well. Did have 7 rebounds and contributed there. Tristan Thompson played 11 minutes tonight. 11 meaningful minutes. How about that?
Somebody's got to fill in with Evan Mobley out.
Yeah, and even though his percentages wasn't good, it was good to see. It's good to see Sam Merrill get up 9 3-pointers. He had 3 for 9, not the greatest percentage, but that's the way he's going to get in a rhythm is getting open shots, taking them. I thought he was I think he's just close to getting in a better rhythm, and I want to see him. I want to see him take at least 5 or 6 threes a game, because I think he has potential to be as good a 3-point shooter as the Cavs have, and I think could really add an element there. And I understand he hasn't shot as well overall for the season, and he has struggled, especially of late. But he's a guy. He is such a beautiful looking jump shot. I want him to keep shooting, and I was encouraged by his performance tonight.
Yeah, I think Sam Merrill, I'm not concerned about his shooting. I do think it'll come back around. But even when he isn't shooting the greatest, like he still had 6 rebounds tonight for an undersized, sharpshooter. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And 2 of his rebounds were offensive rebounds. So, just trying to affect games in different ways. If your shooting isn't getting it done, pivoting to help your team in another way, that's something that either we're not seeing out of Dean Wade, or he's just having a tough go of it lately. I do think that there's something mental there. Like he's got the yips.
Yes. Especially on free throws. We were texting about it earlier. He's a 72% career free throw shooter, shooting 40% this season so far. That tells me it's all in his head. And we all know he has a really good looking jump shot. That's why, it's not frustrating when bad shooters shoot badly. It's frustrating when guys who are seemingly good shooters shoot badly. I do think I agree with you. I think it's mental. I think it's a rhythm thing. He's been in and out of the lineup as much as any Cav this year with a couple different injuries. I'm sure that plays a part. But Dean still does contribute. Like you said, 7 offensive rebounds tonight. He is I would label him a sneaky good defender, like a much better defender than you would think he is. And so he's still making contributions, and still, even when Max Strus comes back, I think he's a guy who will be in the regular rotation. Just want to see his shots start coming around here sooner than later.
Yeah, I would agree. We're big Dean Wade fans. I mean, he was fantastic for this team last year and the year before.
Yep.
I hope it turns around for him, because with the way his contract, or the salary in his contract, that becomes something that's usable come the trade deadline.
Yeah, it is. But I like, we're not a trade speculation show. We may do a little bit of it. So I just want to see Dean Wade play well, because he's on the Cavs and seems like a good enough guy. And he's, like I said, he's right there, and he's got a really good jump shot. I just want to see it start falling. And if nothing else, make your free throws.
Yeah.
So
6.1 million. I think that's about as, I think we talked about it last episode in the weekly, that there really aren't any bad contracts on this team.
No,
that might be the most expendable at if things keep trending. I don't think they will. I think he'll get it together. I think he'll figure it out.
I do too. So we can put a bow on this game again. Happy to get back on the winning side after their last game, which seems like forever ago, was a loss to Miami. Happy, and more than anything, I think the best way to summarize this game, it's great when this Cavs team is such a good team that they win by double digits when they play badly. I mean, when they play bad offense. They by the numbers the best offense in the NBA that had a horrible night tonight, and they still won by double digits. And those are just the signs of a really good, mature team that can win in different ways, when what's been your best asset, being your offense and your shooting, is kind of working against you tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that it's kind of the stuff that we were talking about when they were on that win streak, is that they were always finding another way to win. And tonight they found that through defense and the free throw line, which is, we really haven't seen them win based on the free throw line yet this year. So it's good to kind of see another level or another wrinkle to this team.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we'll talk a little bit about the next game. They got the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn on Monday nights. Brooklyn has been better than people expected them to be. I actually thought they would be, at least until maybe they start making some trades. I actually thought they would be a decent team. They have a team full of really solid NBA role players. It's a real mismatch team. And I, for one, think the Cavs are better than Brooklyn and should win, but Brooklyn kind of has the type of roster that's a bad matchup for the Cavs. They're almost like the Hawks light a little bit, because they have so many big, long wings that shoot threes really well. Like, type of player that the Cavs don't have. So is that like, I see it like a game the Cavs should win, but it's not necessarily the best matchup, and expect Brooklyn to give them a game.
I agree. I think that they have a lot of guys that I like on that team.
Yeah.
Especially that fit that long, spacing wing. Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah. They got Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, even though he's a little bit smaller. They got Zaire Williams, who I really liked when he was on the Grizzlies. They have the only Ben Simmons is still floating around there, and actually playing basketball some of the time. So
it's more than you can say for Embiid.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Cameron Johnson, that's the other one.
Yeah, Cam Johnson. I think this is a team. Actually, I think this is a team that could do really well for themselves at the trade deadline. Get a lot of, trade a lot of these guys to get valuable assets back if that's the route that they go, which a lot of them expect to. But yeah, I think this. What I'd be interested in this game is the fact that since the Nets are the type of team that has a roster that kind of presents challenges for the Cavs, but aren't quite as talented as, say, the Hawks or the Rockets, or another team we talked about that kind of fit the description. Do the Cavs attack them any differently, offensively and defensively, to kind of, I guess, scheme around the mismatches that Brooklyn might have against them?
I think Brooklyn is a good team to test that stuff, because you're going to need to do that when you get to the playoffs and you're in a series against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or if you do match up against the Hawks in a series, you're going to have to find ways to kind of scheme around what your weakness is, and that's lengthy wings that can space the floor.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect team to try some stuff against.
Yeah, for sure. And he doesn't fit the mold, so we didn't mention him, but like German Iverson, Dennis Schroeder is one of my favorite NBA role players. He's a guy, like, especially when you watch him in the Olympics, I'm like, why hasn't he has had a very solid, good NBA career, but I never understood why he didn't, take that step to like top 10 point guard. I think the talent's there. And he's having statistically a really, really good season this year. But yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I think the Nets have some matchup problem, or create some matchup problems for the Cavs. And I think the Cavs have to play a little bit better than they did tonight to be able to beat Brooklyn on Monday.
I didn't even know that they had Bogdanovich on their roster. Hasn't played yet this season.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played. He's supposed to be coming back soon. I just heard that they're trying to push him back so they can showcase him before the trade deadline. But yeah, he is on the roster. But yeah, with that, I think we can probably wrap up here. I know it was not the most exciting game, but getting a win in the NBA is always a good night, and we'll take the win tonight. We'll carry it into Monday, try and get another win streak. And if the Cavs can get 2 wins and a lot of rest over this 12-day period, this could not only be beneficial now, but be beneficial later in the season. I really think this could be an underrated stretch, as far as both momentum and setting themselves up for success, especially the next 2-month run, which is pretty continuous until the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think this is really just like, could be like the shift in the season. You're getting this extended period of rest, playing against the weaker competition, but getting that rest and building momentum once you start getting into your gauntlet, where it's LA, Warriors, Nuggets, Thunder, where you're kind of getting into that just gauntlet of games that we have coming here in 2 weeks. Yeah,
the schedule definitely toughens up kind of right after Christmas into January. So now's the time to make hay, to, like I said, get your rest, get some wins. It'll be tough to have a 15-game winning streak again this season. So, but I said, like, the Cavs now, if they just keep stacking 2 out of every 3, 3 out of every 4, limiting like losing streaks to 2, no more than 3 games at a time, before you know it, you're going to look up, it's going to be end of the year, and they're going to be in the high 50s, possibly 60s for wins. And they get there, then that's an incredible season, a top 2 seed in the East, and we're all hyped up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they have to, for them to make a deep run in the playoffs, they got to have that one of those top 3 seeds to keep home court advantage, and then you likely dodge Boston until you get to the conference finals.
Yeah, they play. They. It's no secret they play better at home tonight. I think they still only have 1 loss at home, that one to the Hawks. I think all their other 3 losses are on the road. I don't have it in front of me, but I would guarantee there's a several point difference in margin of victory between home and the road. I mean, it's just watching all the games, you can tell this team definitely plays better at home, feeds off the crowd. The bench players play much better at home, it seems like. And so yeah, I agree with you. I think if the Cavs are going to have a realistic chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, they have to be a top 2 seed and really use that one of the better home court advantages in the NBA to their advantage.
Absolutely. So, look at us. We're already talking about June basketball. And it's December.
I know. We have slower horses. So with that, yes, let's wrap up. We'll be back. We'll be back Monday next week. We'll do another, and then we're going to do another NBA Weekly, and then the games are going to start coming fast and furious again. So enjoy this break from us, because we're going to start putting out a lot more episodes here in the near future. For Skylar, good luck on the move. If I don't talk to you between the move, I think you're off Monday, so by the next time I talk to you, you might be in your new house. So
I hope so. This has been the most drug out process so far.
It always is, man. It always is. So, all right, for Skylar Webker, I'm Kevin Lynch. Thanks again for tuning into another episode of the Block the Shot, the Stop, and
go Cavs.